Hello, 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 and welcome back. Welcome back to Tipsy Cyber. I'm so glad you guys can join me. So, my name is Jack, if we haven't met before, aka SecITGuy. You can also call me Sec for short, or just Jack. I'll be your host today, this afternoon, this evening, or this morning, depending on where you're tuning in from. Tonight, having a bit of Knob Creek bourbon. So go ahead and grab a glass of whatever you like. Please join us for the end of the week cybersecurity review show where we have a drink. We introduce the big news topics, and then sometimes we'll discuss particular subjects, which are usually chosen by you guys. Aim is to do a weekly networking style social with Q&A with someone that has experience in both blue, purple, and red team operations. So please feel free at any time to grab the computer, grab the keyboard, and throw a question up in chat. Be happy to answer them. We have lovely producers and moderators sitting in chat that will help us along the way with any questions that you might have, and they will send them over my way. As some general housekeeping chat reminders, please be respectful of others. No politics in chat. Please don't spam messages or questions. Only post a question once. Send links related to the topic to the mods to post in chat, and they will take care of it. Regarding the mods and the producer, they are very super strict as can be about toxicity in the chat, just to make sure that everyone has a voice here. So please consider this as a warning, because they will boot you. But however, I do value your time. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thank you so much for being here. As always, I wanted to say thank you to our channel providers, Cyber Insecurity and Neil, for providing a platform to continue to have the real conversations with real people. Thanks for that. With YouTube being the new ones, the new channel and the new access, I should say. Channel's been there for a while, but still. Mm. It has been a minute, guys. It has been a minute. Not. I there we go. Wanted to say hi. Wanted to catch up. Let you all know what is going on. So obviously, YouTube migration took a little bit longer than I anticipated. I was trying to also create some new graphics and some new stuff to go with YouTube migration. I finally just settled on using what we had previously and making sure that the sorry, this should have been already on silent. See, I'm out of touch now. All right. So decided just to use what we had previously so that way we can at least get the technology done and migrated over and moved over to YouTube. Having said that, I also had, as I discussed previously, hard drive issues. However, I was able to recover from my hard drive all the previous videos from Twitch. Now, I'm going to be switching things up a little bit. I decided that episode-wise, we were sitting at around 30 episodes that I had marked down for my notes. And I looked at that and I realized that 30 episodes very reflective of a good chunk of time as well as work. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure was that we mark them appropriately. Having said that, we did about 30 episodes on Twitch, and this technically would have been 31. And what I decided to do is I'm going to move it over into a seasonal approach, where every 30 episodes or so, I'm going to put a cap on it, mark that as the end of the season, and move on. And take a bit of a break as I do so too, just to give myself a little breather and build in breaks as part of the schedule so I don't feel so awful. I think I'm going to start taking a very large breaks every November just because Cybersecurity Awareness Month is very, very busy. But yeah, having said that, also speaking of YouTube, not only are we going to be moving the videos up to I'm going to be uploading the old videos from Twitch up to the new platform, my channel on YouTube. But the Tipsy Cyber videos as well, as we get done with them and we complete them, we're going to move those over into my channel to store and everything else like that as well. So in total, we will I'll be storing and saving everything from Tipsy Cyber over on SecITGuy for my actual channel. Still continuing to broadcast here and help and assist in any way I can with Neil and the channel and Cyber Insecurity as a group and you guys. So that's the plan as of recently. As I said, wanted to come back and talk to you guys for a little bit and describe what I've been doing, as well as let's talk about a little bit about what we're doing going forward. So I don't have a large, I don't have a, sorry, not large, a skill tonight to demo for you guys or to start teaching, because I'm not sure what path we should move down. Need to, I wanted to hear from the community and see what new topics and requests from you guys. What new topics would you like me to cover? I can start going over stuff like, basic cybersecurity. We can get into blue teaming, exercise, red team. We just did purple teaming in the spring. So, as far as some of the tips and tricks and, hey, take a look at that. Let's, in Discord later, let's have a good conversation about some things that we might be able to do. Feel free to hit exclamation point in Discord and join us there if you haven't already. A lot of the conversations go on over on Discord. A lot of feedback is really easy to grab on Discords, but you can also hit exclamation point SecITGuy. I believe that should still be working. Follow me on the platforms. Follow me on the channels. YouTube should be the second one down. You can also gain access to PTS through the link that's provided. But yeah, it has been moving forward, though. We need a subject that I can teach to, as well as I want to continue also making more videos for you guys, and I'm probably going to do shorter formatted stuff. Not quite I'm going to keep doing the stream, obviously the stream live once a week. Keep doing the stream live, but I am going to also be creating multiple different options for other platforms too. I've got some ideas for Instagram. Swipe through, like maybe doing a step type of process of here's 5 steps to go and find an adversary or something like that. And like I said, I'll be in sub chat later on tonight and I'd love to discuss it with you guys, see what you think, see where we can go. So tonight about the news though, go ahead and talk about that. Cheers. So, Missouri Governor Mike Parsons is facing a monumental backlash, basically after threatening prosecution against a journalist for responsibly disclosing a vulnerability in the state's website. Sounds insane. It kind of is, really. It realistically is insane. Specifically, though, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education was exposing approximately 100,000-ish, 100,000-ish teacher social security numbers, and they could be viewed by just checking the source page's HTML code. Now, the way that you check that generally is by hitting F12, and it will open up the developer's tool on any web page that you're already in. You can also right click and inspect elements. It's very public information, very easy access to do. In that though, in viewing the page source, the journalist who worked for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch named Josh Renaud first reported to the developers the information leak, which, round of applause there, that was the correct way before they dropped the story. Excellent way of handling things. Really highly applaud the journalist in this, as well as the newspaper that the journalist works for. I really think they did a great job. The Department of, secondary education, whatever it is, elementary and secondary education, confirmed that the search tool has been disabled. The vulnerability that was pushing that information out has since been fixed, and everything is patched up, banged up. And then the article released engaging, saying that this was an issue that was found and blah, 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 and X, Y, and Z, right? You would think that would be the end of it. Unfortunately, Governor Mike Parsons described the journalist who uncovered the vulnerability as a hacker and said the newspaper uncovered the flaw in an attempt to embarrass the state. In fairness, it's Missouri. It should be embarrassing. No, I'm joking. Joking. A hacker is someone who gains unauthorized access to information or content. This individual did not have permission to do what they did, he said during a press conference on Thursday. Quote, "This individual is not a victim. They were acting against the state agency to compromise teachers' personal information in an attempt to embarrass the state and sell headlines to their news outlet. The state is committed to bringing to justice anyone who hacked our system and anyone who aided and abetted them to do so." And he has since referred the case over to county prosecutors. This one is just, oh man, this one. Obviously, InfoSec Twitter was blowing up over this. So many communities are. Very angry about that. Republican lawmaker Tony Lavasco wrote on Twitter that, quote, "It was clear the governor's office has a fundamental misunderstanding of both web technology and industry standard procedures for reporting security vulnerabilities. Journalists responsibly sounding an alarm on data privacy is not criminal hacking." Excellent. Furthermore, Rachel Tabak, a hacker and CEO of Social Proof Security, tweeted, "If your code leaks personal data via public development tools that any person can see by simply pressing F12 on a keyboard, then you have a huge data leak issue, not a hacking situation on your hands." The Post-Dispatch, the newspaper company that's supporting the journalists in this, basically said that the journalist did the responsible thing reporting the findings. And they believe that a hacker is someone who subverts computer security with malicious or criminal intent. Here, there was no breach of any firewall or security, and certainly no malicious intent. Or DESC to deflect its failures by referring to this as hacking is unfounded. Fully believe them. I know the rest of it's there. I will be posting this up in this particular article, but you can find this anywhere. With that, I just wanted to kind of talk to it because it reminds me of the state of current affairs, if you will, as it comes to the term hacking, cybersecurity, and a bit of a grim reminder that, you know, this is a representative of the people in position of power that doesn't seem to understand that, if anything, this person should be rewarded for identifying a security vulnerability and presenting it in such a manner that it was able to be fixed before it caused further harm, and then reporting on it. That is, it is not bode well when you are a representative of several million people, which includes those that work in the cybersecurity industry, and that the identification of a programming mistake could potentially land a person into legal dispute. I'm not going to say trouble. It's been very clearly reviewed that, especially with the recent CFAA law that hit in the, what was it? It was June that hit the Supreme Court. I believe it was Van Buren versus United States is what I had written down in my notes. In that, if you operate and access a system in a standard manner, it is not considered a case for the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, or CFAA. This was found out due to a prior police officer who was paid money to look up a license plate in the database in the vehicle. And he did so and provided the information about where that license plate address was. Now, the offending officer was since obviously fired. Turns out that the person that did this, paid the money and got the information, was part of a sting operation, because they found that they were told that this individual does this, so they went and checked on him, and yeah, he did. Having said that, it went all the way up to the Supreme Court, because the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act it was basically targeted with that and charged, and it was considerable because the ruling basically stated was, by him logging in as a user and utilizing the information that was provided to him in accessing it in a way that did not abuse the technology itself, fundamentally, just misusing the information, does not constitute a actual crime as covered by CFAA. Now, he was charged and prosecuted under other items for doing that activity, but it was a real consideration, because if you're able to access the information, what the U.S. Supreme Court ruled was, if you're able to access the information, then it's fair game, basically. You can't, just because you can access the information and then you go and abuse that information that you accessed, it doesn't necessarily make it Computer Fraud and Abuse Act related material. Now, there's other information acts that can be utilized. There's definitely other things that can be done too, but it was considered a landmark case, backing up to what we were talking about here with the governor of Missouri not understanding the basics of a web browser, without, like, just to make those comments and not have anybody there with enough of an ear to technology to say, this isn't illegal, this isn't hacking, this This is information disclosure. This is supportive. We should be encouraging this. It is concerning. It is very, very concerning. Having said, I'm take a look real quick if you guys have any questions. No questions that I've seen so far. Cool. Well, again, guys, like I said, I have experience in blue, purple, and red team investigations. Please feel free to throw a question anytime. You can throw a Q in front of it, and it'll get sent over to me from the producers. So having said that, wanted to talk a little bit. Testos Viditroses. I can't pronounce that username. I apologize. What about privilege escalation that results from default configurations? That's interesting. In that, I think it would be, well, default configurations, how? If you're talking about privilege escalation because you've been granted administrative rights on a computer asset just off the bat, that's not necessarily, I don't believe that would fall under that. Because, yeah, it would be considered Now, if you utilize those permissions to do anything else, then that would be different. If you're talking about privilege escalations that result from default configurations, if you have to, I believe if you have to do anything that changes the environment in which you're operating, that's where it would be an adjustment to computer fraud and abuse act. More so, they were looking for change or alteration in the current running state, is what I read in the case. Very explicitly towards outside of the use of information. Having said that, if you are on a computer and the default permissions allow you to access the information, then taking that information and going elsewhere with it, would it be covered under CFAA? Now, it would be covered under other things. I want to be really clear here. I'm not encouraging people to, run away and start abusing information because, yeah, you're free in the U.S. There's plenty of other legal requirements there. It's just under this one particular very specific CFAA law that's, frequently utilized for stuff. If they determine that if it's functioning in a meaningful way, that it was unintentionally designed to do or whatever, misusing of information doesn't necessarily fall under this, right? Robin, as a member of the Canada Central Bank Security Awareness Team, what is the most important thing you would tell to end users? Important or meaningful? Meaningful, I would say, because I just told people this a little while ago, earlier, I think it was this week, might have been last week. I told people, a group of people, that they don't remove administrative permissions from you because they don't trust you. It's that they don't trust anybody, and for good reason. So it was in that context. I was speaking to a group of teachers who were complaining because they can't download updates to software or install their software they need for classes and stuff like that. And they were like, you could trust us with teachers, but you can't trust us with computers. This is, crap. My response was, well, realistically, the reason for that, one single click on a link or the download of the wrong file, you can compromise all those kids' information. That's a very high risk of the data that you guys work with and technology that you work with. And the response was that very explicitly, and I posted this up in the meme chat, but very explicitly, the response was, administration just allows you to download stuff and install stuff that you need. It's not going to get us attacked immediately. I wish people would stop thinking we're so, what'd they say? Childish or unaware or something like that. And I would meaningfully tell them, the end user, that it's restricted to make sure that if one person makes a mistake, however large this business is, doesn't get compromised. and these people still have jobs. What a lot of people don't talk about too is the fallout of if somebody clicks a link and then ransomware occurs, and all of a sudden they have to pay out $2-3 million, right? The money's got to come from somewhere. Payroll is the easiest thing to control in a business. What's some of the fallout for clicking those random links that we don't talk about? Losing a coworker? They get fired or let go just because we don't have the payroll anymore. There's plenty of options out there for, actual effects, because because the multi-million-dollar payout happened for ransomware. Do we lose some of the insurance coverage that we used to have? Do we have to pay in more? Is the company not covering as much? There can be effects for an organization losing resources and funds from this too. So there's multiple reasons. The other thing that I would tell them to help them, as far as an end user goes, and this is probably this one I love, and I use this one myself. You can have a different password for every single website without using a password manager, and you can do so in a meaningful way that you will always remember, and you can teach to your spouse and they will remember. Ready? You create a key, create an 8-character key, right? That 8-character key is some form of upper lowercase letters, digits, and the wildcard characters, exclamation points, or whatever else. Okay, create an 8-character, 9-character key. Then what you do is you put some variable of the website that you're visiting at the front part. So it can be the first 5 characters of the website URL that you're visiting, or the first word in the upper left corner that you see, or whatever else. You get my point. So in this instance, because I was just looking at Yahoo for the news article that we were talking about with the Missouri governor that doesn't understand anything about technology. Because I was just looking at Yahoo, though, we'll use that as an example. If I was to log into Yahoo, God, that pained me to just say. If I was to log into Yahoo, and I was to use the first 5 characters, the password would be made up of a lowercase YAHOO, 5 characters, and then it would be that 8-character catchphrase. You could also split these up, and you could put, the last 2 characters and the first 2 characters. So it would be YAOO. And that could be the very first bit. It can be the very last bit. It doesn't really matter. Point being is that when you combine these 2 things that and you create this framework in which you're creating your passwords, you'll be able to log into anything with your spouse at any time and have a different password on every website without having any issues whatsoever. Let me back that up, with having minimal issues. I say that because I've been to some sites where I go to create a password and it's like, we don't recognize decimal points or periods as wildcard characters. You must use a slash. You must use an exclamation point. You must use an asterisk, whatever. So, or they don't recognize asterisks. You must use whatever, a comma. So, some of the wildcard characters get funny. Some of the password sites will say things like, we don't allow any more than 12 characters in a password. I'm like, I don't want to do this with you then. Why is your system so old? This is stupid. But still, the point being is that I think that would significantly help end users if they realize that by creating a framework like that, you will have multiple. It will basically prevent password stuffing as an attack. Which, for those of you that are new, aren't aware, password stuffing is if they breach one site. So let's say they breached, I don't know, Yahoo, since I'm looking at it right now, and also that's pretty likely. I'm just throwing some shade tonight, guys. I'm just throwing all sorts of shade. I don't know. Anyway, if they were to be looking at if Yahoo was to be breached and they were able to steal your username and your password from Yahoo. One, it's generally done in bulk. And then what happens is they'll create an automated script or service that will go to every single login that is of a benefit to them. And they will try that password and username and password combinations against every single other website. And that's how they'll gain access to multiple different instances of your information. With that type of credential stuffing attack, though, utilizing the method I just told you will definitely defeat it. 1000%. It will defeat credential stuffing. A lot of people, though, say if you are able to grab the passwords, they read the passwords, they'll be able to see that you have a key, and once they know the key, they'll be able to figure it out. They'll be able to hack the rest of your stuff. My response to that is, of course. But at that point, you've pissed somebody off really, really badly. At that point, you're kind of screwed. It doesn't matter at that point. If you have somebody that is targeting you that much and is being vindictive, then you should have multi-factor authentication up on everything anyway, right? If you're targeted by a truly, how would you say it? Truly focused individual, then yeah, they're gonna break into your stuff eventually. That's just gonna happen. You know, this is to try and prevent access in bulk to multiple sources if a third-party site like Yahoo got hacked, discoded. Robin, do you not like password managers? I don't understand the long-winded answer when password manager is just better. It's not that I don't like password managers. However, password managers are limited access point. Your spouse can't utilize the password manager unless they're on that particular device or something like that, where they have shared access. You can jumble things up, and sometimes they fail. It's not that it's bad. I don't have anything against password managers. I think that they are another layer of risk, because you're still reliant on a third party to store and keep all your secrets safe and things like that. But yeah, no, I definitely use password managers whenever there's a multitude. I look back whenever I was doing active operations, my previous job, and legitimately I had something like 30 accounts that I had to sign into. So yeah, I used a password manager to help with that, because just day-to-day operations, jumping from device to device to device, things like that. And my administrative access was slated for just-in-time access, where I had to have to check out a password, utilize it, and keep the timer running actively before the credentials were pulled and any session tokens were pulled. And that's as administration. I think they're all good, and I think they have a purpose. But again, if you functionally think of just like the key and value type of password solutions, if we taught that even in school, it would be much more difficult, and you wouldn't have these password spraying techniques or guesses. Mr. Maz, which team has given you the most joy in working on one? Red, blue, purple? Most joy, I'm going to say blue. But it was really a purple team. I was on a blue team working a purple teamish exercise. What it was is we were being accredited for our capabilities in threat hunting, but the military called it discovery and counter infiltration. The time I got the most hype was our red team was actively engaged in hacking from an internal network device source, compromised a couple of machines, was beaconing back to a central point. But the malware payload that they created was fileless. It would land, execute, delete, self-delete, and clean and empty the recycle bin and all that stuff. Could not get a hold of that, but it was operating out of memory. Like it was just a memory resource. In that, I helped develop patterns and indicators of compromise that we were able to map out the entire C2 infrastructure via network communications combined with we were also able to identify indicators of compromise from memory that we were able to write a signature on, as well as kill the ongoing portions of their command and control. So that one was pretty cool. And I really got a bug for it there. But again, it was I know the outcomes of this because it was an exercise. We were working directly. I won't say that we were working with Red Team and they gave us the answers. It was they were doing a pen test. We were finding them. And then in the wrap up, they told us what they did, and we sat down together for a day and showed us what they did. I showed them what I found, and we got, we both got better at what we were doing. Really great time. Sec, you hear about Reevil going dark again and coming out saying the domain name was taken over. I did hear about that. All estimates are that they are coming back. They're going to be probably coming back. They just need to reorganize their stuff, reestablish. I mean, that is one of the most prolific and wealthy attack groups that has ever existed. I don't think that this is the end at all. I think this is, if anything, it's just what do you call it? A pause, if you will. The fact that a government entity finally found and was able to shut down some of their stuff doesn't surprise me, but also, yeah, just a little worried it took this long. Kind of expecting it to be a little faster, but still. Frederick cults. Are major companies starting to adopt things like FIDO U2F to protect against stolen credentials? Some, but you have to be in a large enough company, right? I've seen a lot of companies right now. I think we're just starting to get past the point of basic with the company, because you can buy so many managed services, and it's cost effective now to buy managed services that even as a startup, you can generally afford a relatively good cybersecurity strategy off the bat with, a tiered subscription modeling access, but I think that what you're describing is it's a little advanced yet. So that's not to say that the companies still don't have issues with basic compliance, shadow, all this stuff. More so, I just think that we're getting better, but not fast enough. That makes sense. Cool. So what I wanted to talk about, though, or at least bring up a little bit on, sorry, I don't know what is going on with my mustache, but at least bring up and talk with you guys a little bit about is when, I don't know how to say this. Sorry, I just had to take a big pause. What we're about to take a look at, as far as what the commentary is and what we can talk about and discuss and go back and forth on, the content that I can bring to you guys on a weekly basis and a more regular basis. What I wanted to discuss about that is I'm starting to think, I'm trying to decide whether or not it would be career service related stuff as the next swing, because we kind of did it. We talked about planning ahead, thinking through, and making sure that you're getting the best return on investment of your time. The last kind of couple weeks that I was running things and teaching. Moving forward, would we want to do demos? Would we want to do tech? Would we want to do interview style? Bring somebody on and start looking at doing that as well. But yeah, major considerations like that. That's more so what we're looking at. And trying to decide on. And I say we very generally because it's me, but still, still. But yeah, I think we have any more. Oh, I believe we have all the questions taken care of, guys. So the technology worked tonight, thank God. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. I'm going to keep it short for tonight. Like I said, I want to keep working at this and see you guys in sub chat in a little bit and move the party over there. We're back. Wonderful. I will tell you that being next week Halloween I will not be streaming on next Friday because it's Halloween. It's the Friday before Halloween. I fully intend on everyone going out and to party and everything else like that. So not going to be streaming next week. We'll be back on November 5th with a plan and a new process to teach to, and having finished the race that is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, because October's a rough month. Excellent, guys. I want to thank Frazier, Chris, as our producer. I want to thank all the mods that are in chat. I definitely want to thank everyone that has been supporting me in the ongoing work. We are back. We are on YouTube. As a reminder, I'm going to be posting the news articles up on the Discord. Hit !Discord if you'd like to see those. And we will be taking this, editing it. I don't know why I keep saying we. I'll be taking this, editing it, and throwing it up on my own channel, which you can find with !SecITGuy. You'll also be able to see me. I'm moving over to sub chat very quickly. And it'll be a good time. I'll be talking to you guys soon. All right. So here's to you guys. Life is a waste of time. Time is a waste of life. Get wasted all the time and you'll have the time of your life. Have a good weekend. Till next time. Be safe.